And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 613, the bye-week edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to, have a bye week. So, what can I tell you? There is absolutely no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. So sings that group that sings that song. I don't even know. No rest for the wicked. We all know that song, don't we? Of course we do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, no, that's not. Anyway, hey, listen, I'm so glad to be back for our 138th episode. Can you believe it? 138th episode. Unbelievable. Let's meet the posse for this episode, shall we? Of course, our host from last week, still recouping, I imagine, from the Seahawks being in his home country of England. The yin to my yang, Matt from merry old England himself. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, Matt, we are scrumptious here. How are you?
Well, I've just about got my voice back. It was an interesting week so far.
Yeah, I imagine. It's been an interesting week to say the least. Also, we have our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Oh, good. I was feeling a little jealous about everybody taking these trips to London and then going all over Europe, so I decided to take a trip of my own during the bye week.
Where did you go?
Wausau, Wisconsin.
Woohoo!
Okay, it was a business trip, but they pay for it, so.
Hey, a trip is a trip, right? Speaking of a guy who's taken a lot of trips, I know, and that is Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, funny you should mention that. I actually just booked a trip earlier today myself.
Oh, and where are we going?
We're going to take the kids to Orlando Universal Studios for spring break. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Hmm?
Well
It'll be
done.
pretty fun.
You'll take me with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Disney World 2?
Was that?
Disney World 2?
Yeah, basically.
Hey,
Universal Studios.
Just don't go to Hawaii, because if you do, you might find a tiki.
Yes.
That's actually the trip the year after.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
We'll save that for you. The person that loves that sound effect more than anybody else, of course, the man behind enemy lines. That's Statsman Mark. Statsman Mark, hi, buddy.
I get goosebumps every time, Dennis.
I know. Great Braves Bunch reference, isn't it?
Now, yeah, I know. It's a classic. So anyway, I have a personal update, and Dustin, I think, will appreciate this if he's nearby. So last week I missed the show,
yes.
Because of for medical reasons. And
yes.
The CAT scan. So Dustin, the CAT scan revealed this. I have a kidney stone in each kidney. Okay. And they're 7 millimeter in size.
Kidney stones.
Oh.
Now, Mark, being an overachiever is not always a good thing.
Yeah, those are some decent sizes, man.
Yeah, when I Googled images that, I shudder, and I'm like, "There's no way I can pass this."
Are you sure those are?
Or you'll shudder.
Are you sure they're kidney stones?
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Could be a curse.
Get the epidural.
Cannibals.
So,
Mark, you literally have some serious stones, man.
that's you stole the punch, because I was going to say no one can accuse me of not having stones any longer.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Sorry.
Well, it's a good time to have stones, because, guys, guess what? It's the bye week. You knew it was coming. Little NSYNC for you.
NSYNC.
Get this once a year. This is the only time. Come on. You know the words.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
No lie. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, I know the words.
Oh. It's the bye week. Fergie, get to the show, shall we?
Let's get it started in here.
All right, this show's run just like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and a half time. First quarter, we're going to have news with our Shadowhawk Will. The second quarter, we're going to recap last week's victory in London against the Raiders. and have a little headlines and punchlines at the end of the first quarter. I didn't mention that, but we are going to have headlines and punchlines at the end of the first quarter. Halftime is the best Seahawk-themed trivia game on the internet. I refer to, of course, a 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Unable to get his four-peat because he was out partying last weekend. Dustin will look to get his title back from Matt. So let's see how that goes. Good luck to you both. Good luck to all of you. Quarter three, we're going to remember
Even Mark.
Especially.
Even Mark.
God, I hope
Mark
he wins now.
Mark.
Wouldn't that be great?
My name is Mark Stones.
The Stones. We should have the Stones for your new sound. But anyway. Third quarter, we will talk about Paul Allen and the impact he had on us, and our team and our city and us personally and everything. Any interactions we had with him and stuff like that. We'll talk about Paul Allen in the third quarter and give him his very, very much his due for sure. And then fourth quarter, Jose Rodriguez, who's a regular listener to the show, he went up to Seattle for the Cowboys game a couple weeks ago, and he wanted to kind of share his experience. So he gets to go and talk to Coach Carroll before the games, actually, the day before. I think he went up to VMAC. So I did interview him earlier in the week and recorded it. So the fourth quarter, you'll get to hear the interview with Jose. So that's pretty interesting as well. Before we start, we'd like to remind you to share, like, and subscribe to the Seahawks Positivity YouTube channel or join our Facebook 12-Man Fan Jam Show, if I can talk. We're also on Twitter. And our email is 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Look for the downloadable podcast of this very show on iTunes and Podbean if you have not done that. And, hey, let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Derek Carr doll. It falls, it cries, it wets itself when it sees Frank Clark. It's the Derek Carr doll. Chucky doll with inflatable ego sold separately. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, my first story comes from the city that never sleeps and never stops bitching about its sports teams. I am, of course, talking about New York and the New York Giants and the ongoing dumpster fire that is the New York Giants.
Yes.
Specifically, Odell Beckham Jr. Earlier in the week, Giants co-owner John Mara mentioned OBJ, saying, quote, "I think he needs to do a little more playing and a little less talking."
Ooh, great idea.
Yeah, a little harsh, but fair enough. However, his father decided to get into the act.
No way.
Odell Beckham Sr. Posted a video on Instagram showing a frustrated John Mara knocking over a chair in his box at a Giants game in 2017 and wrote, "Really? Is that owner Mara picking up a chair and throwing it? Oh my, the tree is acting like the apple. He's mad at how Odell is acting, so he does the same. You couldn't make this up if you tried."
Wow. You couldn't make any of this up if you tried.
It's worth repeating that the Giants gave Odell Beckham Jr. $95 million this offseason, so these two sides are stuck with each other for quite some time.
God. You picking up my boy?
I don't know, man. I mean, if I was the owner, I'd be pissed too at the results I was seeing on the field. I'd be throwing stuff too. The difference being, I'm paying them to perform. They're not performing. They're throwing temper tantrums for who knows why.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, dumpster fire is the right word for it, really, isn't it? But
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
I just think also there gets to a stage where players begin to sort of believe their own hype too much. He's a receiver. Do you know what I mean? He caught one.
Yes.
He's a receiver. He caught a ball with one hand once. That's about all I can tell you about him, to be frankly honest. And the fact he's got a ridiculous sum of money for stupid hair. Get out. You're in New York, mate. You're in the Giants. No one's ever going to hear from you again. I mean.
Well said. Hey,
to live in dreams for though.
Stoney, what do you think about this?
I love my new name. I'd be willing to wager at least one kidney stone. Dennis, the guy. You know what? That whole thing of him posting where on Instagram was it? I mean, which sign? So the video. It sounds like he's almost like Adam Sandler. Which Comedy Central roast was that, Dennis? Where's Adam Sandler? Anyway, Adam Sandler just goes up there and he's purposefully trying, sounding kind of cheesy, and this guy sounds the same way. It's like, man, I roasted these guys and look what I'm saying. And it's like, it's just nonsensical, I don't know.
Can you
And
see
that
the
whole
face?
team, I'm sorry, the whole team, you can practically bet blindly against the Giants any given week at this point. I just think that's just going to continue to go.
I agree with you.
Exploit the weakness.
Can you see Odell like FaceTiming his dad? He's picking on me, Dad. I need some help.
Oh man,
that's so sad. So sad. Wow. Well, that was pretty sad. What else you got? Any more sad news out there?
Yeah. Well, same fire, different dumpster. This one concerns the Oakland Raiders.
Oh my God. Airplane food, hospital food.
Well, I tell you, one thing you may not have noticed while enjoying Seattle's victory last week was the fact that former starting cornerback Rashawn Melvin, who signed a one-year free agent contract with the Raiders this past offseason, played only 7 snaps on defense. He wasn't very happy about it. Apparently, since Melvin came to the team, he's had trouble dealing with certain of the techniques that the Raiders wanted their cornerbacks. So he's basically their Kerry Williams this year. But then went on Twitter and said, "I'm done trying to change my style. It's not me. Back to what I know and what got me here." Well, Raiders coach John Gruden was asked about that, and his response was rather unique. He said, quote, "Melvin is on his 7th team. Maybe he is confused about what technique he is using. He's frustrated. I can't blame him. He is a good kid." So you have Raiders players complaining about the team and the Raiders coach taking shots right back at them. And
wow.
No possible way this could end badly.
No.
God, I love Gruden sometimes. That is such. Do you know what? That is the bitchiest, queeniest comeback from a coach ever.
You expect like some snaps at the end, man. That was awesome. My God.
Wow.
Ooh.
Where's Frank Caliendo to do Gruden? I mean, he's on his 7th team. Maybe he's confused. It's like,
maybe he's on his 7th team.
That wasn't
maybe
a
there's a reason.
Oh, dear me.
Awesome.
That's my terrible John Gruden.
They're still showing up to Raider games. There's a guy work with in the morning. The parking lot is still full, and they're still supporting him at 1-5.
I'm telling you, that's that. One thing I do respect is their fans, because their fans have had garbage last few years, and man, they are still a really rough place to play in. Their fans, I give respect to them. I made fun of the black hole last week, but in all honesty, those guys, the people that are their fans are fantastic. They really are. The thing is,
there's not an awful lot their fans can do. It's 100 million for 10 years. So
yeah, right.
He's not going anywhere.
He's going somewhere. It's more like 100 million for 1 year.
I'm sure he'll take that.
The Coliseum,
Yeah.
The Coliseum in Oakland is easily the league's worst stadium. I mean, that thing is just, the plumbing is bad. I mean, it just,
that like stadium is probably worth less than John Gruden's contract.
Basically. So you have this awful stadium. You have this awful, not good coaching start. And you have this awful team. So, hey guys, I think it's time to do a version of our headlines and punchlines. Headlines and punchlines. When we take a headline from the news, in this case ripped right out of Will's news articles, and our headline this week are "The Raiders are so bad." And man, oh man, that seems to be the case. Let's start with Dustin. Hey Dustin, the Raiders are so bad
that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have filed petitions to never have to call Raiders games again.
That's fair. Hey Matt.
I know.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. That's what?
I was gonna say I know, because there's always fan bases saying, there's petitions filed so they don't call our games anymore. So. And
now they're doing it. Yeah, I get it. That's good. Yeah, cerebral humor. Very good. Matt.
Thank you. That's my favorite one.
The Raiders are so bad.
The L. Davis Eternal Flame extinguished itself halfway through the second quarter out of disgust.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't wait. No. Mark. The Raiders are so bad
that the players were not allowed admittance to Jerry's World Glory Hole.
Oh dear.
That's bad.
That's bad.
That's
You
bad.
got to get a Jerry Jones.
Especially for the black
somewhere.
hole.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been beautiful. The black hole was not made it anyway. That would have been perfect.
Hey, Will.
Yes.
The Raiders are so bad.
The State Department tried to invalidate their passports for travel back to the United States.
Ooh, good one.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we did get Trump involved.
I put the Raiders are so bad they changed their colors from silver and black to black and blue because they're just getting beat up too much.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Clever.
That
Thank
was
you,
very
Dustin.
networky.
Thank you. Oh wait, I have more. Hey, Dustin, the Raiders are so bad.
Fans in Las Vegas are protesting the move.
Yeah.
Sweet. Dude, another one. That could go on any four-letter network.
Well, I'll
You
go
could
with
be
this
proud.
one then. I'll go with this one. The Raiders are so bad, the town of Las Vegas packed up and moved to Reno to avoid them because they don't even want to be there
Nice.
at this point. Dustin, the Raiders are so bad.
So when Marshawn Lynch was asked if he is still happy that he came back to play for the Raiders, he almost responded.
Almost. The Raiders are so bad they hired the Grim Reaper as their new general manager. Little Halloween
As opposed to
flavor.
their old coach.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
The Raiders
the
are so
Cryptid.
bad.
The Browns players say, "Hey, at least we're not Raiders."
Oh!
Ooh, another good one.
And finally, the Raiders are so bad, their logo asked to put another patch over his other eye. Doesn't want to see it.
Nice.
Get out. Woo! All right, and that's the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up, we have so much more show ahead. We have halftime trivia. We're going to look back at Paul Allen and his life and his career with the Seahawks. But next, we're going to take a look back at Sunday's victory in jolly old England over the Raiders. Right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Hey, look, you made it to the second quarter of episode 613 of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Way to go. 12-Man Fan Jam Show now made with 100% real people. So,
Okay.
Well,
What were we before?
That's awesome.
Okay, the
That's
thing
awesome.
is, if you've been to Burger King, or not Burger King, McDonald's, like their big thing now is their sandwiches are now made with 100% beef. Well, what the hell was I eating before?
that is a good question.
If you have to ask, you don't want to know.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So we're made with 100% real people because, you know.
We're Soylent Green.
Yeah.
And moms like us because we have less sugar. That was another question. Remember that?
Choosy moms choose 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Nice.
Oh, that was
Oh, I can write
There
that
we
one
go.
down.
Oh, this is fun stuff right here.
All right.
We
Well,
could do
listen.
this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I tell you
but-
what also is fun is looking back at last week's win because the Seahawks absolutely demolished the Raiders 27-3 in London in front of basically a home crowd, which was just amazing in itself.
Yes.
The Seahawk players and coaches and you know press could not get over what we all knew, which was there are thousands and thousands of rabid Seahawk fans in Europe, and a lot of people took a trip over to Europe for this game. Seeing as it was a bye week, they went over to Europe, and it was just it sounded amazing, Matt. I know you're our guy. You were there, so give us a quick rundown, man.
So an 86,000 stadium booing when the Raiders comes out is a really, really good feeling. I was up in the guards. I was up in the International Space Station somewhere way up there watching it as it all happened below me. But we won that game from the Thursday onwards. We were the biggest team. We had the players had a better break than everybody else. They arrived early. They practiced well over here. Russell Wilson got 7 hours sleep. That never happens.
He never sleeps.
He got 7
sleeps.
hours sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the moment after we'd done all the national anthems and nobody kneeled down or did anything inappropriate, and the boys came out and the Hawks came out first, obviously as a visiting team, and the place just rocked. I mean, it just went ridiculous, and I can't express how that. And I was at the very first Wembley NFL game, and it was nothing compared to this one. And everyone was like, "There's just so many 12s." There was like, there must have been about 3,000 come from Germany. There were, I don't know, 4 from France. There was, thousands and thousands came from the UK as well, and America. I mean, you guys just got on a plane and came on over. It was like King Street at one point. We had a pub called the Green Man, which is next door to Wembley Stadium, which was King Street, but it may as well have been. Laura was doing face painting. We had Cannonball there. We got paintball there. We got.
Nice.
It was all. It was just like a home team. It was incredible. Absolutely astonishing.
How big Raider fans begging for change.
Sorry.
How big did you say the stadium was, Matt?
I think it's about 80. I think it's about 86,000 if memory serves. It was full. It was the biggest ticket sale they've ever had.
Yeah.
And it was
Mark, what did you say?
I said and I said, and Raider fans begging for change outside of the
Well, I mean, the thing is, there were Raiders fans there, but they were only there until the third quarter, and then they were gone. Everyone, I mean, the one sitting next to me, who I have to say was British, and he was clearly a Raiders fan for quite some considerable time, and he was getting pissed off really with me just doing the whole defense thing. But as I say, I'm sort of up near Everest. Right, so the chances of my little piece of noise making any effect whatsoever to what was going on down below, next to nothing. But it doesn't matter. It's all part of the thing. So I'm doing the full defense. I'm doing the full, you suck, whatever. And he's just sitting there getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And in the end, he just gets up and goes out. I'm waving goodbye to him as he goes down the steps.
Every little bit of noise helps. Every little bit of noise helps when it's the home team, man.
Oh, absolutely. I want to share something real quick here. Before we get into the game itself, Lestoff, Lestoff, UK Seattle Seahawk fans had a thread started after the game. Things heard on the way out of the stadium, and I thought some of these would be pretty funny to share. And I said I may share some of these. So that bloody chant, I'm sick of it. Patriots fan. God, and we were embarrassment tonight. That Russell Johnson's a great quarterback. That one's a good one. Who's Jess Glynn? Is he on the Raiders?
He was really good, by the way.
Someone was on crutches wearing a Romo jersey, and someone asked him if they came free with the Romo jersey.
I love it.
From a lady 7-year-old sitting in front of me, sir, you're doing a great job booing the Raiders. Thank you, madam. Are you from Seattle? Not at all. I'm French. Come on there. We need you in Seattle. Barkevius Mingo? Is that some British saying? I don't understand. Congratulations. You guys beat the crappiest team in the NFL. Oh, God. English guy cheering for the Hawks said out loud, it's 3rd and 4. I don't know what the fuck that means.
That's John. I have to say that's probably. I don't reckon they heard that very much, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Me after the second awful putt by the Raiders. Well, he must be a very good holder.
Yeah. His mother loves him.
Oh God, what else?
Not after that punt.
The great one, the one that I liked was the only thing you've invented is Starbucks.
Yeah.
The only thing you've ever invented is Starbucks, and like,
you only scored 27, so you must be bad. What?
So I turned around and said, the only thing they've invented is Starbucks, and they're all over Oakland as well.
I mean, Microsoft, Amazon, none of that matters.
A couple of Raiders fans. We got another 10 years of this crap.
Yeah, when we were leaving, like the same when you leave the ceiling and they do the whole Seahawks chant. Well, we were doing that a lot, and then this Raider fan literally tried to set up doing the same thing using Raiders. And as soon as he said he went Raiders, everybody at the same time, and it was like there was some sort of telepathic link, all went suck so loudly, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not saying that again." He just walked down the thing. It was brilliant. That was.
Gina Ray Vinson, who is a friend of the show, who's from out in Seattle.
Hi, Gina.
Post game at the Green Man. Raider fans, let's go. Me. Where are they going? It's not the end zone.
Oh, wow.
That's nice. That's a good one.
Very early in the game, I tried to be civil with the Raider fan next to me, and I said the Raiders aren't playing like a 1-4 team. He deadpan, don't worry, it won't be long. Ooh, man, there's some good ones. All right. That's pretty good. All right, now let's go ahead and dissect this game a little bit.
We're still doing that. Okay.
We're going to still do that. Yeah, Dustin. Dustin, you want to give me something positive from this game? 27-3, Seahawks win.
Well, to be honest with you, I was pretty busy last weekend with my brother's wedding.
That's
I haven't
true.
had a chance to see the whole game yet.
That's true.
I was listening on the radio, and the one thing I can say that I was super impressed by is something we've already been talking about, and was the fans, because it sounded like a home game over the radio.
Yes.
You could hear the cheering and the chants and the screams the entire time the announcers were talking. And I was super proud of everybody that showed up and showed big like that. So, I can't offer much analysis for this one. I haven't had a chance yet.
That's okay. Hey, I'm beyond proud of myself. Reminded me of Super Bowl 48. I'm just going to say it because neutral crowd, big stadium, and you expect, in a neutral game, you expect half and half, and it clearly wasn't. Not like a Super Bowl that we walked away champions from. Will, what are some things that you saw, or something that you saw that was positive from this game?
Well, it's hard to pick just one, but I'm going to go with our pass rush. And there's a bit of a caveat there because, their offensive line was pretty well decimated. And they were starting a rookie at left tackle who was a Tom Cable draft pick. Enough said there. But still, watching Frank Clark and Jaron Reed and, guys like Shamar Stephan getting into the mix and just beating that crap out of Derek Carr for four whole quarters. It's just it's not going to be like that every week, and we're going to have weeks where it's a struggle to get to the passer. But it was just great to unleash the hounds and just pin our ears back and just be able to affect the quarterback that much.
But wouldn't you agree? And we've had years and years of this period how the Seahawks are in a division where they win by November and they don't play anybody all year, blah blah blah. And we'll look at their teams that they've played, and we'll probably go more into this next week when we talk about the season so far. But like with the Raiders, they had a really beat up offensive line. But doesn't that just help a young team's psyche to know that they can blow out an NFL team? I mean, okay, this team's not going anywhere, the Raiders, but doesn't that just help your psyche anyway, Will? I mean...
Well, they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, this could have been a game where they let the Raiders hang around for 3 quarters and then win by 7 or something like that, and we'd all be talking about how, it was a win, but, the Raiders played us pretty tough. No, they came out and just bitch slapped them for 4 straight quarters. And that's what you got to do when you're facing a team that's as bad as the Raiders are. You come out and you stomp them. And I think that, I'm not sure where the Seahawks are at this point, but it speaks well of them that they could go out and absolutely dominate a lesser team like that.
I agree. Mark,
I think it's interesting.
That's good.
I'm sorry. I think it's more of a thing where they're riding off the high, which is weird to say, of the Rams game. Because the Rams are generally considered to be the best team in the NFL right now. And the Hawks went toe-to-toe with them.
Yes.
They lost, but they really should have won that game.
Sure.
And so they go out there and they do that against those guys. They're confident as all hell. Of course they're going to go out there and destroy the Raiders. You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. Which I think bodes well. And then, as we're talking again next week, but after this upcoming game, 6 of the next 9 are home, which is going to be just fantastic. Zorni, what are your thoughts? Give me a positive from that game.
Well, it actually ties in. I know we'll get into that maybe next show, but a prognostication. I actually got one of those correct. I've been on fire. My stones are on fire. Trivia and prognostications.
Stones are on fire.
And literally.
yeah. But you don't want to stand next to it, so it's not like a Jimi Hendrix song. But I know it's bad.
Nice.
You know what, though? I'm in the running game. I met Chris Carson and Mike Davis. They are now in all fantasy leagues. That's how popular.
Yes.
It's been going really well. I'm hoping that Penny still just kind of works his way in there and so he feels good about his rookie year. But the running game has just been awesome.
I agree.
So
I agree. Matt, do you have a positive from the game other than?
Yeah, I mean, I think holding Marshall on to just 45, and it was great to watch him. By the way, he's still one of those players that you can just watch.
Yes.
Because he's gonna get yardage. He's gonna get some yards. But we held him to 45 yards, and I think our defense in general. I mean, the lack of targets. And I'm going to say something a little bit which is not going to be universally popular. I understand that, but I felt very sorry for Derek Carr because he had nowhere to throw to. He had nowhere to run. He had nothing was working for him. His left guard, his right tackle, everything was just collapsing around him.
Yeah, we took out Crabtree.
I mean, it was like watching us at the beginning where everything was just falling apart.
Exactly. I agree.
It was a car crash.
For me, I mean, Rashad Penny, I thought, came up we have three great running backs right now, which is just crazy. And to me, the backfield, the supposed, where's the Legion of Boom? Well, here's the Legion of Boom. We've knocked out 4 receivers in 2 weeks on clean hits with no flags thrown on any of those.
Bradley McDougald is going to have to write a check after that hit on Amari.
I would say not a flag being thrown versus a clean hit are a little different.
But the fact is, this defensive backfield is doing just fine. Thank you very much. I have not sat and go, oh man, I wish we had him back or him back or him back. I think they're doing a great job, and I would imagine part of that is Cam on the sidelines. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, McDougald is better in coverage, so that kind of
true.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you hate to see Cam not be there, but McDougald is actually better in coverage than Cam is. So there's a trade-off there.
That's true. That's a good point. Will, something to work on?
Well, a couple guys. Honestly, the big negative is that we don't get to play the Raiders every single week. But a couple things, just a couple disappointments. Just Nick Vannett, not being able to play. Pete Carroll on Friday was sounding pretty confident that he was going to be able to play.
Yes,
and he wasn't. And this is kind of a prove-it year for Vannett, I think.
It is,
and he's shown flashes, but hasn't been able to put it together.
Right.
And then you've got, we've got so many backs in the backfield. Nobody talks about CJ ProSize anymore, who doesn't have any opportunity to get injured anymore because he's been a healthy scratch the last few weeks. And it's just, I think that ship is well and truly sunk. So, a couple guys from that draft class who I really don't think are ever going to pan out, at least not here.
Yeah, sounds like it. Mark, go ahead.
No, every time I hear the word CJ ProSize, I just seriously forget he's even on the team. I feel like he's already on a different team waiting to play for them. He's such a non-factor. It's amazing.
True.
It's amazing he's still on it. I don't.
All right, man. I like thinking about him because every time I do, it has to do with the injury report. And I get to look up new and weird, funny injuries that in there.
That's true.
We appreciate that.
Mark,
you got a negative?
Well, we allowed 3 points, and no.
Well, I was bummed out. I wanted the shutout.
Yeah,
had we got the fumble, we should have had.
I would have gotten a 5-point bonus in fantasy if we'd shut him out. Played the Seahawks deep. Now, hey, what can you complain about? It's a long trip, and it was just nice. I had to work that morning. There's nothing like turn on the radio and you hear and another, scores 14-0 Seattle in the first, and it's like like a nice drive.
Yeah, it's been so long.
I take my time to get ready. I'm like, this is going to be a nice whooping, and then I take my time to get to where I watch the,
What's funny you bring that up? Because I was talking to Little Mo because I was like, we know before the start of this game, I said, they're probably they should win this game. We expect them to win this game. But, nothing's going to come easy for this team because, they beat the Cardinals by 3 and every game's been to the wire. And I said they're just young and they're going to be one of those years where every game comes down to the wire. And then, boom, we're sent back and having a good time in the fourth quarter, because it's a blowout.
Yep.
This was the most relaxing Seahawks game I've watched in quite some time.
In a while, I agree. Matt? Negative?
I suppose, again, some of the penalties were just annoying. I think like Baldwin's delay of game for no reason whatsoever. That was just grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
You got your
that was uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah, it's just not necessary. And there was some other stuff as well, some holes and stuff. But
Second drive in the first half.
I know. It was when you was it one at 1st and 28 or something? It's like, Jesus. So clean up those sort of bits and pieces because that was the thing that we were playing out there. We weren't playing the Raiders. We were playing. ourselves. To be
Agreed. Dustin, negative?
Oh, well, I didn't get to watch it yet.
Oh, that's right. So we'll move on. All right. All in all, though, a good game. And we were very excited about 27-3 win against any team at any place at any time. So congratulations to the Seahawks. As we go into the bye week with a win, that always helps things for the next couple weeks. All right. Let's go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
It is a 2-minute warning. We're going to check our Posse prediction challenge. First on the scores from last week. 3 points to Statsman, Mark, and Dustin. They said the Seahawks would score 27 points. They did. Dustin, great score. You get a point. You said 27-10. It was 27-3. Well done.
Ooh.
Yeah. Prognostications. A point for Matt, saying Carson would have more rush yards than Lynch. And a point for Statsman Mark, who in that final drive did get 155 rushing yards for Seattle. So he said more than 150. He made it. Game ball. I'm giving a point to Dustin for Wilson. I think Wilson had a great game. I'm giving a point to Will for Reed. I think Reed had a great game. And I had the NFC Defensive Player of the Week at Frank Clark. So I give myself a point for that. The over and under was under, which is a point to just about everybody. Little Mo, Mark Tye Turner, Mike Pascale, Dustin, Matt, Will, Statsman, Mark, and Moses. Meaning week 6 looked like this. Dustin with 6. Statsman Mark with 5. Moses with 2. Matt with 2. Will with 2. Little Mo with 1, Mark Tye Turner with 1, and Mike Pascale with 1. Gentlemen, if you total that up real quick.
We made up some ground this week.
That is that's a 17-3 lead, I believe. Which means after 6 games, things are looking a little different. Mike Pascale still has 14, Mark Tye Turner has 12, but Will has 11, Tom has 10, Statsman Mark has 10, Dustin has 10, Moses has 10. Little Mo has 9, Matt has 9, and Jose has 8, which means, gentlemen, as we go into the bye, Team 12 has 53, Team Posse has 49.
Ooh.
It is a 4-point differential as we head to Detroit next week. So
we're not dead yet.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And Dennis, again, for the record, have we ever won one of these things by season?
Absolutely
no.
Yeah.
Never been close. They
Every
actually
year
double
we
our
win.
score most of the time, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
this year, baby.
Well, here's the secret behind this. Moses just he edits it to where they win, so they keep listening. But we've won every year, guys.
There's not enough editing in the world, Dustin.
No, there isn't. Not enough.
That's just what I tell myself.
Hey, let's go to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Yes, coming up, we have so much more show to you. First, we will ask questions like, does Mark Stone's on fire still? Are they still on fire? Is Dustin still practicing cerebral humor? And has Matt recovered from the London game yet? All these questions and more. But first, it's another fine edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And that is coming up next.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Dustin, Statsman Mark, Matt, and Will. And Earhay are the Oozray. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, The questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen, so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my two charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, you guys know the rules. You can't look up anything. You can't make any phone calls. No Googling, no Alexa, no anything. And the kids have taken the quiz, so you can ask them once in the first 2 rounds. Good. Siri's no good. No, sorry.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Put her away. The topic for the quiz is Paul Allen.
Of course.
I did find 6 questions with Paul Allen related and 2 questions that are not Paul Allen related. So this could be interesting. Matt, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I'll get it out of the way first. 1.
All right, Dustin, 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4.
The last one?
The last one.
I'm not sure which one at this point.
Mark, 2 or 3?
We'll go 3.
And that means that
I'll take 2.
We'll take 2. So no football questions this week. It's all dedicated to Paul Allen, which he's kind of, but not really. All right. All right, guys. Matt, you are question 1.
Aye.
And your question is this: in what city did Paul Allen and Bill Gates start Microsoft? Is it Albuquerque, New Mexico, Houston, Texas, or Seattle, Washington? Where did they start Microsoft?
I for once, I think I know this. It's the New Mexico one, but I can't pronounce it because
Albuquerque?
Yes, one.
It's a great...
You don't speak American?
Albuquerque.
If you ever look up Weird Al's best song is Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he used to close with it.
Oh, no. It's not.
Oh, that's the best song ever. So you say, I'm sorry.
Just FYI.
Yes, so it's the Albuquerque.
You're going Albuquerque?
The plucked turkey, yes.
The plucked turkey. He's going with the plucked turkey. Mosette and Little Mo also plucked the turkey. You plucked the turkey. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Good job, Matt.
Well done, Matt. Matt is on the board. Will.
Strong work.
Yes, sir.
Your question 2. Yours is a Paul Allen question. And yours is, how many patents did Paul Allen hold? How many patents did he hold? 41, 42, or 43? That's pretty amazing.
God.
Wow.
I know. How many patents did Paul Allen hold? 41, 42, or 43?
Well, in the spirit of Douglas Adams, I'm going to go 42.
Oh, yes. Good answer.
He's going to go with 42. Mosette went with 42. Little Mo went with 43. You said 42. I'm sorry. It's 43. He had 43 patents. That is amazing.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah. Very, very good. Very good. Well done. Mark?
Yes, sir.
They had a Vulcan production company that made movies.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And which one of these movies did Vulcan Productions not make? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Which of the following was actually a film? 2 of these are not films. One of them is actually a film. Which one of these is actually a film from Vulcan Productions? Close to Heaven, Girl Falling, or Hard Candy? Which one's an actual film from Vulcan Productions?
You know,
Close to Heaven,
on Blu-ray.
Girl Falling, or Hard Candy?
Yeah, Hard Candy.
I know this one.
I'm sure everyone else does. So say the titles one more time. It got...
Close to Heaven, Girl Falling, or Hard Candy?
Oh my God! Is this all straight to video? I mean, none of these
No.
sound like
No.
theatrical.
Only one of them's a real title. I'll give you that.
It sounds like you have to. It sounds like you have to go behind the green saloon doors just to get to this movie.
Yeah, you have to go into individual booths to watch these, but they're all movies.
Yeah, I think these are Jerry's World. Wow. You know what? I have no idea. I'm going to go with the middle one, whatever title.
Girl
the second
Falling?
one. Yes.
Girl Falling. He says. Mosette said Close to Heaven. Little Mo said Girl Falling after he shrugged his shoulders at me. Yeah. You said Girl Falling as well. Yeah. Hard Candy.
Hard Candy.
And that is
it's really creepy film with Ellen
movie.
Page.
Yes.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
What
it's
year
creepy.
is this?
It's not that old. It's
It
actually...
It might have been 2000s.
They played it in Cannes, and it got like a lot of good review in Cannes. Real quick, it's a story of a girl who looks like she's 13 who meets this guy at the mall who's like in his 30s, and it's obvious he's a predator, and it's obvious he's taking it to his house, and you're creeping out, and you're going, oh, crap. And then it turns out she turns it on him, and she ties him up, and she winds up like torturing him and stuff because he is a pedophile, and he pedophiled one of her friends, and she's actually like 16 or 17, and she's like badass and stuff. It's creepy.
Yeah, numbs him up. I'm not going to give away.
No, it's very creepy movie. Very creepy, very controversial too for that reason. But yeah, hard candy. Okay, Dustin, yours is a Jimi Hendrix question because we all know Paul loved Jimi Hendrix. So, Jimi Hendrix was found twice by police doing what? Riding in stolen cars, shoplifting, or smoking marijuana. Jimi Hendrix was found twice by Seattle police doing what? Riding in stolen cars, shoplifting, or smoking marijuana.
Well, smoking marijuana seems too obvious, so I'll say, I don't know, driving in stolen cars.
Riding in stolen cars, okay.
You're right, yeah, he's a rock star. Sounds
gonna catch me riding dirty.
Be riding dirty, you're gonna be riding dirty.
Well, let's see here. Mosette said smoking marijuana. Little Mo said smoking marijuana.
And
you said riding.
You said riding in stolen cars.
You said riding in stolen cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was caught twice riding in stolen cars. Was given the option of jail or the army, and that's when he went in the army and became a paratrooper.
I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, there you go. And now you know.
That's cool.
All right.
The rest of the story.
So let's see here. Let's see. Who got the points here? Dustin got a point.
Me.
And Matt got a point. So
that's like me.
Mark and Will.
Mark and Will are in the losers table.
That's all right. 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll start with Matt.
5, please.
Dustin.
8.
Mark.
7.
And that
same order as first round.
Will 6. You guys. All right, Matt.
Hello.
Your question is about Paul Allen. And I can't really say anything, I think what a relief, because these are not easy. This one might be. What was the name of Paul Allen's yacht? Was it Octopus, Victory, or Vulcan?
Which one? Yeah, 2.
Well, okay. The one that used to be the biggest that he actually used to go out and rescue people with. Octopus,
the one that Kashama Salant was bitching about.
They had like 2 heliports, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Octopus, if memory serves. Because wasn't that the one that damaged the coral in the Cayman Islands?
No, it wasn't that one.
Because I'm sure that was the British Cayman Islands and people got very upset about it. I say Octopus.
You're going to say Octopus?
Yeah.
Little Mo said Victory. Mosette said, I hope it's Vulcan, is what she said. You said Octopus. Yeah, it's Octopus.
Yeah.
And so he went out there.
If memory serves, I think it damaged a load of coral in the Cayman Islands and they were very upset by it. Very upset.
He had the odds to go out there and help people and it had helipads on it for medical rescues and shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
he did. They rescued some people.
Edit this out or not, but fuck Swant.
Well, basically what they did was they needed something. He said, take my yacht, I think is probably what happened. Not like he actually went and did it, but like he's like, take my yacht and go.
Yeah,
can I just say,
that's still awesome.
Can I just say, he damaged a load of coral in the Cayman Islands, so they were not very happy about it.
I understand.
Matt, let it go.
Let it go. Let the Cayman Islands go, man.
You know,
Nobody...
you're rich. Good.
Go, no,
if you hadn't invaded them in the first place, it wouldn't matter, Matt.
Didn't invade them, we colonized them. There's a big difference.
So it's just, you're rich when you say, you're rich when you say, take my yacht, please.
Yeah, it's okay. I've got another one. It's all good. That's fine.
That's so true.
It's like Dunkirk all over again.
All right. Let's see here. We are going to Will now. Will, what was the name of Paul Allen's band? Ooh. Was it Paul Allen and the Explorers, Paul Allen and the Programmers, or Paul Allen and the Underthinkers? What was Paul Allen's band? Critically acclaimed, by the way. Paul Allen and the Explorers, Paul Allen and the Programmers, Paul Allen and the Underthinkers.
I'm guessing he paid the acclaimers.
Well, he couldn't call himself Paul Allen and the Proclaimers because that would have been copyright infringement.
True.
I'm going to go...
no, I said Programmers.
Yeah, I know. Ask the kids. I'll ask the kids.
Ask kids. Mosette said Paul Allen and the Programmers, and Little Mo said Paul Allen and the Underthinkers.
I'm going to go with Programmers.
Programmers?
Well, that's clever, isn't it? Think about it.
But it is, isn't it? Paul Allen and the Programmers. And the answer is... Nah. It's Paul Allen and the Underthinkers. Yeah. Which is also pretty good. Yeah, interesting title, but it was.
Well, I
All right.
underthought that answer, apparently.
So you did. Hey, Mark.
You see.
Jimi Hendrix question for you. How much money did Jimi Hendrix pay for his first guitar? $4, $5, or $6? Jimi Hendrix's first guitar. $4, $5, or $6?
Oh my goodness. $4, $5 or so. I'm gonna ask the kids.
All right. Little Mo said $4. Mosette said $5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with $4.
Old Man Fan Jam, so also a historical reference.
Yes.
I'll go with 4.
He's going with 4. And the answer is... it's $5. $5. First
It's
guitar,
that old
so.
familiar song again. Just, yeah.
That doorbell.
You can mix that in with like Bryan Adams trivia and ask him where he bought it, like at the 5 and Dime.
But it's 5 and dime.
Oh,
In the
God.
summer of '69.
Yeah, played until
dear.
his fingers
I
bled.
swear to God.
No
at the end of that
Bryan
song,
Adams.
If you listen to Bryan Adams, he says, "Me and my baby in a '69." I'm not lying. Dustin.
Yeah.
Here's your question.
All
How
right.
old was Paul Allen when he bought his first guitar? Was he 14, 15, or 16? Paul Allen, how old was he when he bought his first guitar? 14, 15, or 16?
I don't know. I feel like if you want to play guitar, you learn that early on in life. So I'll say whatever the young stage was. 14?
14?
14. Yeah.
Wow, I sure didn't. But 14, Lil Mo said 14. And Mosette said 15, and you said 14. I'm sorry. He was 16. So. Well, gentlemen, it's 2 points for Matt, a point for Dustin, and Mark and Will are looking to tie up and send it into overtime as we head towards the final question. All right, final question. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask for a number. The order is going to be Will, Mark, Dustin, and Matt. And you're probably going to know this, so it's going to be interesting if somebody can actually get this right to the button. But here is your question, Will. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. I think one of you will probably get this down to the... But here's your question. As of September 2018, according to Forbes, how much at that time were the Seattle Seahawks worth? How much was the franchise worth as of September 2018, Will?
Okay.
$35.
Starbucks voucher.
I'll take the over.
2.3 billion. 2.3 billion.
2.3 billion.
Damn.
Mark.
I'm gonna say 2.5 billion.
He's going to say 2.5 billion. Dustin.
According to John Clayton, they should be sold for $2.3 billion. So I'll say $2.35 billion.
2.35 billion. Matt.
I wasn't sure how specific to be.
Matt, here's where we're at.
And 50 cents.
2.3.
I know.
2.3,
You better rob the
2.35, and
sir.
2.5.
What were those numbers? Oh, hold on. Sorry. So
2.3.
How many zeros is that?
That's a lot. 2.3
Okay.
billion.
More than I'll ever have.
Yeah,
2.35
Must
billion
win
and
the lotto
2.5 billion.
2.35 billion and 50 cents.
2.35 and 50 cents. All right.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
And we're giving it to Matt by default.
Here we go. The actual amount of as of September 8, 2018, according to Forbes.com, the Seattle Seahawks were worth $2.58 billion. So we are going to overtime. And it's between Mark and Matt.
Well done, Mark.
The
Nice
urge to-
job.
Oh, this is too much stress.
Mark, the order will go Matt, and then Mark.
Matt
Okay.
beat me by 50 cents. That is so awesome.
That overtime by 50 cents. Oh,
Congratulations, Matt.
nice. Oh man. Okay, here we go, guys. We're gonna go with Matt and then Mark, and I imagine Will's gonna kick himself when he hears this because I know he's gonna know this. All right, here we go. Your question is this, Matt. According to Forbes, how much did Paul Allen pay for the Seattle Seahawks?
Oh,
How much did he pay for the Seahawks?
Matt. And he said it earlier as well. Damn
Come
it.
on.
Why am I never listening to these things when it happens? Now let me remember.
I know this answer as well.
It was 79 million when it was first done. So it's going to be. Is it 270 million dollars?
$217 million. Mark, according to Forbes, how much did Paul Allen pay for the Seahawks? Now, this is according to Forbes, so I don't know what they threw in there, but
Right. I think my hunch. I think Matt is he's rarely wrong, but I think he's way over on this. I'm gonna go 190 million.
190 million.
I thought you were going to go 50 cents below Matt's.
50 cents.
No.
I go $1.
I have a
missed a
vague
chance. You
idea.
should have done
I
it.
think,
$1.
of what it
I
was.
go $1. The actual amount according to Forbes. Now, I don't know. Will's probably not going to like this or whatever, but this is what I got off of Forbes. Researching it on Forbes.com, how much Paul Allen paid for the Seahawks in 1997. The amount they show is $194 million. And that means, guess what?
Oh, my trivia
my
song.
actual goodness.
Can you
been
believe
years.
it?
I thought Mark's trivia song was.
It usually is.
Your
Like my
life,
headset
since
earlier.
your life has turned around since you got them stones.
I know.
Stones bring you luck.
I know. I got to roll them on a craps table.
There's lucky stones.
Ew.
That's amazing, man.
Wow.
Congratulations, Mark. That's
Well
all.
done. Mark.
You know what?
Nice
this
job.
Is, here's a trivia, right? Instant trivia. This is my first win since before or after the Cleveland Browns win of however long ago. You know, it's like we're getting into like Hugh Jackson territory. This is
Yeah, we are.
I like.
Oh,
I
God,
like
man.
that
And-
that you won after we gave you after I personally gave you shit earlier, and everyone's like, "Oh, I hope Mark wins now." It's pretty
Well, it's
awesome.
great.
And he
What
came
was-
from behind.
Oh, well, once in a while.
But it
you
wasn't
know.
premature.
Well,
Mark,
and I,
congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate Matt keeping a straight face. I think when it was announced that he and I were squaring off in overtime, he must have been, holding back the laughter.
He was ordering his trophy.
Statsman Mark comes from behind, everybody. This has been another
I feel like Nick
crowd-pleasing,
Foles.
award-winning edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Thank you,
Of the
somebody.
world. Sorry.
We'll be
Yeah, of
back
the
with the
world.
second half of the show right after this. Big data. Big data. They're dangerous. Take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I'm surrounded by idiots! Idiots!
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
All right. It is the second half of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, and this is the third quarter. We would like to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to this video or this audio, depending on which one you're listening to. We have a great Facebook page, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have Gmail, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podbean. Make us part of your pregame tradition. As always, we'd like to once again congratulate Statsman Mark on a hard-fought victory, sir.
And Nick
Congratulations.
Foles, thank you. I feel like Nick Foles, just like I was.
Yeah, you ran the Philly at the end there, and that
Yep.
got you going.
He's
Congratulations.
the real MVP.
He is. This week was just amazing because we had that wonderful, fantastic win in London, and you Seahawk fans went to bed Sunday night just as happy as could be, and then we wake up to a complete punch in the gut, and you find out that our owner Paul Allen had passed away from non-Hodgkin's
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Non-Hodgkin's.
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thank you. And it just really punched a lot of us in the gut. So I thought we would take this third quarter, since it is the bye week, and we'll talk a little bit about personal experiences or what we always want to say about the owner. And we'll start with Will. Will, what are your thoughts about Paul Allen as an owner and the impact he had on the team, on the community, and everything?
Well, all the stuff we've been talking about for the last 20 some years, the Super Bowl win, even the Super Bowl loss, all that, it wouldn't have happened without him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still remember back in 96 when Behring was trying to move the team, and I was making calls and sending letters, and it's like, come on, don't do this, don't let him do this. Mm-hmm. But if Allen hadn't stepped forward and that stadium bill hadn't passed, the Seahawks wouldn't have been here. I mean, the other owners did not want Behring to have the Los Angeles team, but if lacking a viable alternative, they would have let it happen.
That would have been the problem, yeah.
Yeah, so just, Paul Allen was really the perfect owner. He signed the checks and he didn't meddle. He had as much money as the team ever needed, but didn't pull a Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder and run him into the ground. Mm-hmm. And he did get involved in the community. He's done so much for this city. And one of my favorite moments and one of my favorite all-time games is the 2005 NFC Championship game when we beat the Panthers. Went to our first Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And just having him raise the 12th man flag and just all the fans standing there chanting, "Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul." And, that became a tradition. I mean, he did that for the championship games in 2013 and 2014 also.
Yes, he did.
It's hard. It's hard to imagine the Seahawks without Paul Allen. Mm-hmm. I hope the next home game they lower the 12 flag to half mast for him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like going forward.
I can't either.
Really good request, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I think they took pictures of it at half mast, I know, and I'm sure they'll have their first home game, which is quite a few weeks away, but I'm sure they'll have a moment of silence or, maybe raising the 12th man flag at half mast with no one raising it to salute him, maybe is a suggestion too. I don't know.
His wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
yeah. I'm sorry, or her sister. Yeah.
His sister. It's his sister.
Yeah.
Dustin, what about you? What are your thoughts on Paul Allen?
Well, everything that Will just said is, I definitely echo that, but aside from you, Dennis, I'm the only one here that has, as far as I know. So I love the fact that he saved that team.
Yeah.
And he brought them here. And not only did he keep them here, but he gave them success. My kids have never known the Seahawks without success.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a different world where they were the laughings to the NFL and people made jokes. You couldn't wear a Seahawks jersey or a Seahawks starter jacket back in my day without people giving you shit or making fun of you.
Yeah.
My kids, they grew up proud to be Seahawks fans, and it's all because of what Paul Allen did and what he brought to the table. And the fact that he didn't meddle, he understood that he's not a football guy. He doesn't know football. Mm-hmm. He brought in people that knew football and knew how to run things and let them do their job.
Yep.
I like that he understood that where his knowledge on a subject ended and where others began and where others were able to thrive. And I originally, this happened when Mike Holmgren was fired from the Seahawks and he left. I called into 950 KJR and I talked to Elise Woodward for about 5 minutes about how my kids have never known the Seahawks to be anything but successful.
Yeah.
And at the time, I gave credit to Mike Holmgren. But in reflection and seeing how things have gone since then, it's Paul Allen. Paul Allen is the guy that made that possible.
Yeah.
And he's the reason why my kids have seen things in a world that I never did.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for what he did, and I wish he was still here. And I love everything he did for the franchise, man. It was amazing.
It was. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the other area that we've got to look at is the fact that this silly little show that we're doing now is working because of Microsoft code in the background that Paul Allen had
very true
things to do about. I mean, none of this would be happening. The ability of our communications, even the fact that we're talking, I'm 5,000 miles away in this direction, but we're able to have this conversation. This is based upon an awful lot of Microsoft technology that's making all this happen.
Agreed.
So it's when you think about it, when you sit back and think about the impact that one man can have on the human race, not just football, not just the stuff that he was doing around wildlife in Africa, not just around garbage collection and cleaning the oceans and the other stuff that he was involved in, but also where he made all of his money in the communications and digital computer stuff. Everything we do around us today probably has got some Paul Allen code somewhere involved in it.
Very true.
That's just immense when you think of it in that way. As far as the football team is concerned, I'm really pleased because I didn't want to be a Los Angeles, Seahawks fan.
No,
that wasn't there for me to want to be.
No,
and I can't imagine being a 12 in any other way other than Paul Allen's version of the Seahawks.
Yeah.
He also brought in the light wikis, which was huge. That's why we got the 12s. Yeah.
He did. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, well, I wrote my little spiel in our Facebook, the instant message. What I like, or I guess was reminded of, he had such a wide range of interests, and I just like the diversity that he had. I mean, he gave, $2 billion. I feel like it should be like Austin Powers, like $2 billion, $2 billion to all different causes. We all know we remember the nightmarish years of Ken Behring, who the guy was a real estate developer, just about 90 minutes north of here in Danville, which is a pretty well-to-do community here in NorCal. But, I just remember even when he wanted to move the team to LA, and of course I'm in California, so you might think on the surface, well, they'll be closer. But for me, I even though I don't live in Seattle, never lived there, it was important that they stay there. That's where they belong. So even as a California guy, I didn't want them to move, especially to LA.
Sure.
I mean, my God, it's like they belong in Seattle. He did save the franchise, and as others said, he's the perfect owner. It's like money from the heavens. There's not a peep out of him. The checks are cut. The checks are going to clear when you're worth $21 billion.
Right.
Now check for Mark Davis. No, anyway, I mean, you just, there's really nothing to complain about. And what I even love is how even though he distanced himself from team affairs, I love how even he must have chimed in to fire Mora Jr. after one season. It's like, guys, it's like this guy sucks so bad, even I have to place a phone call.
I believe that's where it came from.
You know what? I mean, he like Dustin. Everyone's touched on it really well. I mean, he was a wonderful owner. I hope I don't know if we'll have as quiet an owner coming up, but we can certainly do better than Jerry Jones and and other types, So, but I mean, it's just he's gonna be missed.
Yeah, agreed. I'll chime on here, and then we'll go to the end of the third quarter. I obviously, I call myself the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. That's not going to change. He was a saint, and he will always be a saint in my eyes, without question.
For a team in our city.
Yeah. He was a saint that came at the right time when we needed somebody to save our Seahawks. He rose to the occasion. And like you guys have already said everything. For me, my experience is I've actually had the opportunity to actually meet him 3 times. The first time scared the absolute dog crap out of me. I've never been able to meet somebody through the organization and not speak, but I just couldn't speak. And the story, I'll tell you, was my first game up in the home in the new stadium, 2004. I was living the dream. Unfortunately, the Seahawks blew a 17-point lead to the Rams. But Paul went running by.
Was that the playoffs?
No, it was the game before that. It was
no,
the
that was
season.
week 4.
And
all right.
And they ran by, and Neil Hart, who Neil Kiltman, said, "Hey, I'll get you Paul's autograph." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Thinking whatever. So he comes running back, and Neil says, "Mr. Allen." He stops, looks at Neil, and goes, "Hey, Neil, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." He goes, "This guy came from Indiana just to see you." So I'm sorry we didn't win, and I swear to you, my reaction to him was, because I had I couldn't speak, and I just handed him my hat, and he said, "Oh, I'll sign that for you," and he signed my hat. Now, as I look back on that experience, he was wearing like a members only jacket, a Seahawk hat that was at least 6 or 7 years old.
Sweet.
And brown slacks and loafers. And you would not have thought this guy's worth $6 billion, except the fact that there were 4 men surrounding him that were definitely his bodyguards.
Yeah. But
other than that, he was like anybody else. And I was just taken aside after I could speak again. How, for lack of a better word, I hate to say it, how normal he was. And then met him again after a game. I could speak this time. He signed my game program. And then the opening of the 12-man exhibit at EMP, Neil invited us to go to that as well. And my son was able to get a lot of autographs from a lot of people that day, including Paul. And at the time, Jacob was like 8. And he has this Seahawk Sports Illustrated Super Bowl champion book. And I have the video. I saw it today. And he actually, Paul like leaned down and asked him, what's your name? And he said Jacob, and he signed it. And he kind of smiled at him and, shook his hand. And I'm like, wow. I mean, for me, that was the best thing, to see my son shake hands with this amazing person. So for me, It was a real kick in the gut because of all those experiences I've had. Personally, being able to actually say I've met Paul Allen, I'm very proud to say that, and Jacob's very proud to say that he's met him as well. So we can't say enough. I think overall, the feeling of this whole group and the whole organization and all the fans from anywhere is pretty much thank you. I think to Paul Allen, a gratitude for him being such a wonderful owner for so long, and we certainly hope our next owner is lasts twice as long and is even half as gracious and wonderful as that man is, and we'll be in really good shape. So, but that remains to be seen. So I think at this point, we'll just call the end of the third quarter. And coming up next, we'll have an interview with Jose Rodriguez, and that'll be right back. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah. It's time for the fourth and final quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, I read an interview that I had with Jose Rodriguez, who is a regular contributor to our 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page, a member of Team 12 in our POSSE Prediction Challenge, and listens to every show, or so he tells me. So, Jose recently made a trip from California to Seattle for a game. It was the Cowboys game in week 3, as you know they won. He wanted to share his experience with you because he gets to go and actually talk to Coach Carroll and go visit the BMAX. So I made a recording of our discussion about his trip earlier this week, and I would like to run that for you now. So here's my interview with Jose. How you been, man? It's good to talk to you again.
I'm good.
So listen, when you go to Seattle, Jose, you don't just like go to the game, do you?
No, I go to the locker room the day before the game. And I get to talk to Coach Carroll. And I win this season during week 3. We hadn't won a game, and we were playing the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
I mean Cowboys, excuse me. And it's fun.
I think you got that right the first time.
I was on Alaska Airlines, and they had the movie The Blind Side. And I had to quote the blind side to Pete Carroll and say, enough trick plays, just run the dang ball.
Did you really say that to Pete?
Yes! Yes!
What did he do?
I said, Coach, you're confusing me. And he said, let me guess, run the damn ball? And I said, yes, please. And he said, okay, what else you got? I said, pressure the QB, please. And he said, okay, we're going to do that just for you.
No.
And sure enough, we got 3 sacks on the quarterback that day.
Yes, we did.
That day, if I remember correctly.
So let me ask you something, Jose. Why in the hell did we not send you to coach week 1? Why did we not do that?
Because I can't fly to Denver. Otherwise, I would probably be high most of the time because marijuana is legal. I'm just being honest.
Hey.
Just being honest, Dennis.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Just being honest. We're an honest show. That's okay. So you went up from L.A.
Yes.
to the game.
Yeah.
The Cowboys game. The Cowboys game.
Cowboys, huh?
Yeah.
I had to take my godmother.
Oh, good.
Because she's a Cowboys fan. God help her. So I had to show her who the better team was. And she just gave me, said, yeah, you guys played better today. Good job. We sucked today. And I said, yeah, you really did.
So did you come back then after that game?
No, I stayed for Mariners game
Awesome.
the next day. And but I saw them get beat by the A's. But it was my first time seeing a Mariners game, so that was fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. That's quite a weekend you had there.
Yes.
So now when you met...
Family, football, marijuana, and baseball.
We're not talking about that one. When you go meet Coach Carroll, do you meet him at the VMAC then?
Yes, always at the VMAC, always after the walkthrough. He was actually talking to some friends he had up from Northern California.
Yeah.
Then he saw me and said, hey, let's say hi to Jose.
Does he
say hi to Jose? So I had the attention on myself for a couple minutes and I told, run the dang ball. And he said, I know, I've been hearing it all week. And then, what else you got? And while I said, pressure the quarterback. And he said, okay, and sure enough, they got
then they did
3
just for you.
sacks on that Prescott, and I think Zach probably liked the sack in more ways than one.
That's cool that he knew you.
What?
It's cool that he knew you.
Yeah, he remembers.
That's awesome.
It's hard to forget me.
That's the truth. Did you see anybody else while you were up there?
No, just Coach.
Just Coach.
Oh, and Mr. and Mrs. Seahawk, I met them after the game. They are great people. Very friendly.
Oh, they're unspeakably friendly. Yes, Jeff and Dee Dee, Mr. and Mrs. Seahawk. Wonderful, wonderful people.
Yes, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember her name. Her maiden name. I could just remember Jeff's name.
They are great people, without a question.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
They
without a question.
Stay there, took a picture with me and everything else. So it was fun.
Awesome. Was that the first time you met them?
Yes, the very first time.
Oh my goodness.
After the game, he had pain in his eye and he was trying to get it out and it wasn't pretty, but he still took the picture. Family who didn't understand why I wanted to take a picture with 2 people with their faces painted. So I had to explain to everyone who they were, what they had done, and
Oh yeah.
everything else. It was a complicated car ride back home, to say the least.
But a victorious one, thanks to you being there.
Yes.
So what is your record at Seahawk games now?
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
6-0.
6-0, undefeated.
7.
7-0.
7-0.
Even better. 7-0, undefeated. we need to get you a plane, and we need to fly you everywhere, even Denver. We need to fly you to all the games just to be there.
That could be a mistake in Denver. Again, that could be a mistake.
Well,
that will be a mistake to fly me to Denver.
So no, you can't
never come home.
You can't go to Canada now because they just legalized it in Canada.
I'm going to move to Canada. Now, so
well, if you move to Vancouver, so you don't miss the Seahawks game.
Andy, Northern Rock, I hope you have a place for me up in Canada, please.
I'm sure Northern Rock will find room for you. There's no question about that.
I hope so.
And I want to thank you for always contributing to the webpage and always putting up the interviews and the things like that. We really appreciate that.
And my after the game.
And you're after the game, absolutely.
Hey, God help me. This team is going to give me a heart attack or kill me.
I hope not.
Season. What?
I hope they don't.
They probably will. Because their tackling is terrible, especially Justin Coleman.
Yeah.
Well, can't tackle to save his life.
I know. But he can cover very well.
Yes, but you can't. After you cover, sometimes you have to tackle.
That's
Someone
true.
needs to teach him that. So hopefully we extend Frank Clark and hopefully we trade DJ Forsyth or Jermaine Ifedi.
Now, wait a minute now. Now, if Eddie, the last 2-3 games, what has he done? What's he done?
He almost got Russell killed last week on a blindside hit.
That's true.
What
But you got to
has he
admit he's
done?
done better.
What has he done for me lately? Besides almost get Russell killed on a blindside hit by a freaking Raider defender with the last name Key.
But it wasn't every play. At least it's not every play
No,
anymore.
it's a miracle.
Yeah, I know.
I give credit to Mike Solari. I refuse to give him any credit. 0 credit.
All right. I have jumped back off of Ifedi in my doghouse, but apparently he is firmly in yours.
Yeah, always and forever.
Yeah, well, okay.
Always and forever. Enjoy.
See now, and I'm not the only one that sings. Do you hear that?
I sing terribly, but at least I make you guys laugh.
Well, I appreciate it. You do that a lot on the webpage, especially on the Facebook page, especially.
I'm glad. I'm very, very glad.
We're glad you're here, Jose. We appreciate it. We appreciate you, everything you do on the page, everything you do with our show. We're always thankful for that, and we're thankful that you just agreed to beat our butts for the 4th straight year in the challenge. So
you guys are making a comeback. Both of you.
We had a big comeback this week. Yes,
28 points last week.
We had a lot of points this last week. It was very close.
And we had.
Yes. We drew to within. We drew within 4. We drew within 4 points of you guys going into the bye week.
I hate to say it, but I'm actually jealous of Johnny Manziel.
Why?
He's in Canada. He's married.
Oh yeah, right. Good point. He's in
married
Canada.
to a beautiful woman.
Yes.
And he still gets drunk every day. And gets paid. I'm Mexican. I can't do that. I can do 2 out of the 3, but not all 3.
Oh my God!
I can't get paid. I can get drunk and I can
marry a beautiful woman,
but I can't play football and get paid for it.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Again, thanks for having. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for
and
talking.
I always love talking to you.
Oh, I do. I love talking to you too, Jose. All right, man. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. Here we are back from the interview with Jose. And Jose's, I'll tell you what, he is outspoken. There's no question about it.
Thanks for recording that, mate.
Yeah. And thanks to Jose for listening to the show. We appreciate it.
Oh, he's the one.
Yes.
He is
Well,
one.
You're the one guy that listens, Jose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jose.
To be honest, Jose, could you not have instructed Pete to do all of those things slightly earlier in the season?
That's what I said.
That would have been amazing. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Okay, I take it back. Thanks for not showing up, Jose.
Run the damn ball. All right. Hey, well, look, it's time for us to run out of here because it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We hope you laughed a little and maybe learned a little something. We learned a lot. We learned that Dustin is going to try cerebral humor, which is interesting. Matt is bitter about the Cayman Islands. Really? Don't ask him about the coral. We learned that stones bring Mark luck. and his stones are on fire. So
Moses, we've got some breaking news coming through. Breaking news coming through. NBC for Columbus. A study has found that 16.4 Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
I saw that out of Columbus.
Enough said.
I believe 16.4 million Americans.
That was 16.4 million.
Dividing people up into tenths.
16.4 million.
Yeah, 16.4 million.
It's too many anyway. Well, on behalf of those morons and my partner in crime, Matt.
I don't get a game ball this week?
No, our new sound, Shadowhawk Will, Stats Van Mark.
Kidney stones.
Dustin as the Beaver, Mike Pascale.
Mark my game ball for
calcium based.
Roger Goodell, Mark Tye Turner, Jose Tom Mosette. Oh my God, Little Mo. This is Moses saying until next time, if there is a next time. Go Hawks!
Go
Hawks!
Kidney stones.
Thank you, Paul.
Made with real almond milk.
God help us all. Oh my God, that was great,
Remember,
guys.
folks, we are professionals.
Oh yeah.